Hey everybody, welcome to the Unshackled Moms Alliance and happy Mother's Day. Welcome to our Mother's Day special. Today I am so excited. We have Heather Pulliam. As many of you know, Heather has a child who is on the autism spectrum. He is nonverbal, and then she has a spicy little daughter as well, and she's going to come and talk to us today about motherhood and being a mom and what does that mean to her. And so I hope you will listen, and I hope that you'll take something, because I know I was blessed talking to her. I'm sure you're going to be blessed listening. Okay, so Heather, what surprised you most about motherhood that no one really prepared you for? I mean, we read all the books, what to expect when you're expecting, all the good things people tell us. Like, what about you? What surprised you?
So growing up, I was even though I was the oldest, I had siblings that all had kids before me. And I was always the fun auntie, the one that, they all wanted to be around. And I would give parenting advice to my siblings because I was always the oldest. So I just assumed, I know what I'm doing. I know how I'm going to raise my kids. My kids are not going to do this. I'm not going to have the screaming kids in Walmart. My kids are not, I just had all of this in my brain that I was going to be the mom who was attentive all the time, playing with them, because that's what I did when I had my nieces and nephews. Fast forward and realizing you're a full-time you work full time, you're a wife, you're a mom now, and then we got thrown autism, which completely changed the parenting thinking. Nathan has to be parented completely different. We have to really talk through every meltdown. There's things that you built like, oh, you're going to eat that for dinner because I made it. No, you're not. You're making something completely different. All of those things that I learned as a kid or as how I was parented or thrown out the window. And even adding Chase, who's now 6, she has such a quirky little sassy personality. And add technology like the tablets and video games and what kids say and do and all the things at school definitely changed my perspective on how to parent. I feel like it's harder. I mean, yeah. So, yeah. I had really big assumptions of what my parenting style was going to be, and none of them are what I don't do any of them now, is what I should say.
So all those out the window.
Yep, all of them went out the window.
Well, and I think that, somehow we feel like it's like anything you practice that you get really good at. If you practice ballet every day, that you can go and do like a beautiful performance. But the reality is, kids are so different. Whether it's autism or you have like someone that has maybe type 1 diabetes, or you have, sassy little princess or whatever that looks like, it doesn't matter. You have to have enough tools in your toolbox to kind of be able to plug in and help. And like, if you really had to learn on the fly, if you have not listened to my interview with Heather that talks about all those different things, I'm going to put the link in the description so that you can click on that, because it is primo amazing. So what part of motherhood that you experience just doesn't get talked about enough?
I feel like a lot of stuff does get talked about just now because you have the internet and everybody has something to say. I think for me, the internet has created a false sense of what motherhood is, because people portray themselves as being the perfect parent online. And so you see that and it makes you kind of feel bad. Like, I'm not doing those things. Is my child gonna be all messed up because I'm not the perfect one who has dinner ready every night? Most nights, like I am like, what do you guys want to eat? Because working full time, going to school, being a mom, autism, all those things, sometimes it's just, okay, you want cereal tonight?
Yeah.
Here you go. And so I feel like that kind of stuff is not talked about as much. Um,
We have the
because the
illusion of
things
the
are portrayed as perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, like
exactly. We have the illusion of, every woman needs to work all this time, wear their pearls, vacuum, and be, like
mhm.
have this full dinner. But the reality is most homes are not like that. Most homes
Yeah.
are having cereal or whatever because there are only so many hours in the day. So, you in thinking and listening to you and your answer, I have a quick question for you. So, and I heard it on another podcast, and I just thought it was really good. So, you have two kids,
Mhm.
um, and one that has autism, and one that is just a fun, sassy girl. When you're with Nathan in the grocery store, and he just is done, he's having a meltdown, and you are just going to have to stop. So how can people who are around you, how can they help? What can they do? I heard this on another podcast, and I thought it was just such a great question because like so many moms want to help. Like we've been there, done that. Maybe not on an autistic scale, but know what that looks like. And I think a lot of parents want to like come alongside your child, come alongside, whatever. And it was like, don't do that. But what would be helpful for somebody who experiences that in the middle of a grocery store?
Yeah, so I've thought about this because I've heard this type of question before, and I'm like, what would I want to have somebody do? I will say that Nathan is a little more past those meltdowns, but back when we were little, I feel like have like the stairs make you start sweating, and people don't understand that what his meltdown is typically not a tantrum. Every once in a while it's a tantrum because I'm not giving into something, but the meltdowns are typically an overstimulation of the lights, all the sounds in a grocery store. We've been walking forever. He's done, or he's sat in the cart, he's done in the cart, all of those things. And if we didn't bring his headphones or, whatever, he's just done. And so if he's having that meltdown, having somebody maybe like if I'm carrying bags or trying to get him to scoot, like if somebody could carry the bags for me out of the store, or you know even just hearing you're doing a good job, because in that moment when you have everybody staring at you, you feel like you're such a failure. And maybe not trying to talk to Nathan, I would say, because I have had that where people have tried to talk to him, and I mean, even he's not even listening to me who understands what his needs are. So that part would not help, just saying. But yeah, just offering the encouragement and saying, hey, do you need some help with getting this out to your, car, or, just something like that.
We move your car over
Mhm.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, just offering to like not necessarily help with Nathan, but with the other things that I got going on.
Yeah. Yeah. In that moment, if somebody's talking to you, are you able to respond?
Sometimes it just depends on how much Nathan is like, he's very persistent in what he's asking for. And he doesn't care if I'm talking to somebody else, he'll just keep. And so it depends on where my mindset is at. Like there's times where I can be like, thank you so much, or hey, do you mind just doing this? But there's other times where no, I'm so focused on him. And not to mention, if he were to do this now, he's like to hear on me now, and he weighs over 100 pounds, and I'm only 5'1", so he's gonna tower over me soon. Also, I guess as he gets older, um, not because some people might go directly to like violence or things like that, because they think this big person is hurting somebody else or not instantly calling the cops or, you know, things like that. I mean, that's not something I've dealt with, but those things scare the crap out of me
Yeah.
as he
Yeah.
gets older.
Yeah. Because I think people want to be supportive in that moment and
Hmm.
really don't understand fully what's happening in that moment.
Yeah.
I think that education
Yep.
is so key.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question. It's good. It's a good question. It's hard to think about, but yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally understand. So, what has been one of the hardest seasons of motherhood for you so far?
There's been a few different ones. Obviously, I'm always going to go back to autism. Nonverbal autism, severe level 3, is a struggle. And when we first got the diagnosis, the grief was hard, and then trying to even learn about it, navigating all the things that go with it, the therapies that we needed to get him in. Him being away from us was huge. ABA therapy was the first time because he wasn't in daycare or anything like that. Both of my kids have been lucky enough to not have to go to daycare, not dogging the people that send their kids to daycare, but we have been fortunate to be able to make our schedules work that way. Um, but we sent him off to ABA therapy at 3 years old and had to leave him there for half days. It scared me so much. So that part was a really, really hard time. And just learning those again, I don't know the difference between a meltdown and a tantrum and uh, going back to the what's the difference in how you would parent, like, okay, you can't spank a kid that's having a meltdown. That's not going to do anything. Timeouts are not going to really work right now. So I had to really learn that. And then right now I would say, as he's going to be in junior high soon. So um, that part is really becoming a hard thing for me to grasp and wrap my head around, that he's getting older. And then Chase, she's, getting out of kindergarten and she'll be going into first grade. And she has big, huge emotions, and we're really noticing that lately. So it's been really hard, and she's starting to understand video games and online and tablets, and we're trying to really um, keep her from being on certain things, and then she hears certain things at school and then she brings that home, and we're trying to navigate like what is appropriate for her and what is not, and like how much she should play versus she shouldn't, without completely restricting her, because this is the world we're in and I don't want to take away from that, since that's where we're at. But so this has been the hardest part for me, is learning how to balance how to raise Chase versus how we raised Nathan, because it feels like having like Chase is a first time child for me all over again. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Well, and I think that that is such a great point, because whether you have autism in your home or not, you can be raising two very, very different children. And you
Hmm.
think, like, where did the chromosomes for this baby come from? Because,
Right? Yeah.
I have no idea, because they like the first child we had, everything we did was easy, it just ran smoothly. And then all of a sudden we get this hellion, and it's like, where did you come from? Right. And so
Yeah.
I think that you have to have so many tools in your toolbox, because just one parenting, tradition or thought process doesn't always work for everybody.
Yeah. And Chase, I'm realizing, I'm like, I was very shy when I was little. She is not shy at all. But I am already seeing a lot of me. And I'm like, yeah, that was me. That was my stubbornness right there. Or, yeah, I'm kind of one of those emotional people. I cry very easily, and I find that she cries very easily. And so, I don't know. We're just navigating that. Girls are different too than boys, and it's very interesting. It's just different. But yeah, this time has probably been my biggest struggle. And I know in a few years when she's a teenager, I'm going to be going, nope, this is my biggest struggle.
It just moves.
Yep.
So, speaking of Chase and tools, you talked about before we went on. You talked about a really great way that you use a Disney movie to help her. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so she this week, she really struggled, and we're not really sure what's going on. I think it was just I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We talked to her. I mean, I'm a very nosy mom, and so I talked to her a lot about her emotions and Inside Out. And Inside Out 2 in particular, she really gravitated towards that one, is one of our favorite movies. And so when she's having really strong emotions, I'm like, are you having Inside Out 2 emotions? This week, yes. And I'm like, are you feeling like Riley this week with all the different emotions? Yeah. And then we sit and talk about which ones she's feeling. Like, you were okay, you had a rough day at school. Why did you feel anger? And she'll talk about it. And then, okay, but why are we sadness right now? Because, sobbing for whatever reason, and she'll talk about it. She's really good at talking it through. And so that's kind of what we use. That's kind of right now it works, our technique for getting through.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that there's probably parents, or moms who are listening right now who are like, oh my gosh, that was a good movie, but I never even thought about applying that to day to day parenting. Anytime we can put tools in our toolbox, I love it. Okay. So, how has your specific journey into this motherhood, young mom, shaped the way that you see yourself as a mom?
Most times I feel like I'm honest. I feel like I hear that I'm a great mom from people, but I feel like I'm failing most of the time. I feel like sometimes I yell too much. I let bad days get to me too much. We had to we did struggle with conceiving Nathan. Chase was not we didn't struggle with conceiving her. There was a lot of stuff going on trying, we didn't have to do IVF, thank goodness, but we did have to, it was a struggle. So the excitement of being a mom has always been there. I love it. There are days that I struggle. There's days where it's like, oh my gosh, that would be so much easier right now if I could just focus on everything else. But it always boils down to being a mom. I don't know. I do, I just do it. Like I don't I was thinking about this. I don't know how to answer that question. Like I'm just do what I need to do to make sure that they're as happy as can be. And then as they go to bed every night, I look at them and go, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't screw you up today.
I think that is such a normal mom thing because
Yeah.
we love these little beings so incredibly much and we want the best, whatever that looks like for them and their abilities. We want the best for them. And so, when we see like it going down this path, it's not going to be the best. It's going to, we want them to come this, and then when they fight us, it's like, oh, geez. So, what do you
Hmm.
do to counteract those days because I think every mom feels that way. How do you counteract those bad feelings of my children are going to be in therapy for the rest of their lives because we have screwed them up?
Um, I think it really helps when, like, Chase, actually, both of my kids, it's really sweet. They'll just all of a sudden come up and give me a big, huge hug. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? It's out of nowhere. Or Chase will just come up from her tablet or whatever she's doing and just look at me and go, I love you, mommy. And I'm like, well, I love you too. So I feel like knowing that, and the fact that she still talks, like she's only 6 obviously, and teenagers are going to be different, and I'm hoping that our relationship continues like to be this, but she talks to me, she brings all of her feelings to me, and that's when I feel like I'm doing a good job, because I feel like, okay, she feels comfortable enough to tell me. And I read somewhere that when a child can be loud and feel like they're okay to be loud playing, or when they'll come to you with any emotions, even yelling at you, mad at you. It's because they feel safe with you and comfortable with you. And so I go back to that, like, okay, maybe I am doing something right,
Yeah.
even though my negative thoughts continue to get to me. Just, I guess those things make me, I don't know, make me feel like I'm doing okay, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I think that that is so important, especially those who are listening who children are, 11, 12, 13, and they're really trying to break it. Like they feel like they're still a kid, but they're trying to be adult and they like,
Hmm.
and really mom who has been open and has such a great relationship is, usually the target because we know where she's safe. And so just picking out those moments when you're sitting in the car and they're, you're having a great conversation or whatever that looks like, I think that is so important. It's like, those things won't be happening if you're not doing a good job.
Yeah, I agree. And Chase will just, Mom, I want to be just like you. And I tell her, that's so sweet, honey, but I want you to be better than me. Like that is my go-to ever. I want you to, that's very sweet that you want to be just like me, but I also want you to be your who you are. And I tell her, I want you to be better than me because I feel like as a parent, you always want your child to be better than what you are. Like that's the goal is to be like, okay, you do better so that you can continue on and, be better. Everybody in the future can be better, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And we'll just continue. Each generation is better than the last.
Hmm.
You learn a little bit more about parenting,
Yeah.
about life, and you do better for your children who do better for their children.
Yep, exactly.
I think you were like creating a legacy or something.
Maybe.
What kind of pressure do you feel as a mom, whether it's from yourself or from the outside? You talked a little bit about that um, in the last question, but are there any other pressures that just you feel?
I think in my personality is always going to feel pressure. I have a really bad time with not accepting that I'm not perfect at everything. And so I always thought, oh, you're going to be the perfect parent. And so I struggle with that when I'm not. But I'm getting better. But there are the outside, again, going back to the things you see. I got to stay offline sometimes. Like,
Yeah,
I get a lot of good ideas off of there, but I also, you see like, oh, that person, man, I don't know how they do it. Like they're obviously, you think they can just balance it all, but but then I have to go back to, I don't know what their life is like off of the camera or off of, portraying that life. That's why I try to be as transparent, especially when it comes to autism. Like, I don't want anybody to think our lives are perfect because they are far, far, far from it. And so I think that's my biggest thing is like trying to like push away the perfectionism and just do what I can and be a mom,
yeah,
the
yeah.
best I can.
I love
Being
that.
older, having kids too, because I was 31 and 36, I feel like I probably would have had a little more patience when I was younger. I don't know. And like a little more energy. Those are my two things that I'm like, yeah, sometimes I'm like, I wish I had that energy that I used to have.
Yeah, it's amazing what, once you hit 35-ish,
Hmm.
it doesn't go all go to pieces, but, like there's definitely a marked change.
You feel it. It's like, and then 40, I was like, my mom used to tell me that all the time. She's like, wait till you hit 40, you're really going to feel it. And I'm like, that's just you. And then I'm like, oh, she was right.
Well, okay, so when you're overwhelmed, right, which we talked a little bit about those days, what actually helps you come back to yourself?
I get overwhelmed. Some days I definitely get overwhelmed very easy. Like it could be the smallest little thing that will just set me off. And it's probably just been because there's been a buildup of stuff all day long. And then all of a sudden, one little thing, it's usually my husband. Don't tell him that. And
He's the
he
right to
actually,
clean up.
he knows. He knows it's usually finally him that does something or says something. And I'm just like, ah. But I'm the type that needs to go. I need a second. Like, even if it's just like 5 minutes, I need to go in my room, close the door, and usually I cry. I cry, like I said before, I cry very easily. And when I'm overwhelmed, it's almost like everything builds up and just needs to come out. And so I'll go sit and cry for about, I don't know, a couple minutes. And then I come out and usually I'm good. I always just need to step away. So if I don't have that moment to step away, then it can still kind of sit in there with me. I am one of those people, and this has always been something that I've stuck to from even since I was little. The next day is always a new day for me. And so even if the day before was really bad, I try to wake up positive. Um, it's not like I forgot what happened before, but I try not to let it boil over into the next day. Now, if something happens and it, makes, I don't know, makes the day go bad again or something, or that's different. But I try not to wake up dwelling on what the day was before. And baths and showers are my go-to as well.
Yes. Is it that I think is like the first amazing step in motherhood is when you can shower for a full 10 minutes
hmm
by yourself.
Yeah. And my kids are now old enough to where even Nathan, like people have struggles with leaving their child with autism and worrying about them eloping or getting into stuff. But if I'm like, okay, mama's going to go take a shower or whatever, he's really good about just sitting and doing like watching his tablet or finding something to do that I know it's not dangerous. So it's like, it's become a little easier. And then Chase is older now. And she might as well be the one babysitting Nathan sometimes. I would never do that. But, like she is definitely one that she'll come and mom, hey mom, Nathan's doing this, and then I can redirect. But yes, when I can have that moment, a good shower is my favorite thing.
Ah, yeah, same, same. So right now, I don't know who's listening, right? It could be that mom that is just you way feeling like she's completely failing. So when if you were sitting across from her or just talking to her now, what would you want to say to her? Because you have those same feelings.
Yeah, I think I would definitely tell her like I feel that probably 20 times a day with some little something. It could be the smallest thing to the biggest thing. And to know that no mom is perfect, and to kind of let go of that perfectionism. If you feel like you have to have that, that everybody's going to go through struggles, that kids learn at different ways. So to not compare your children to, other kids, because I've done all of these things, especially with having a neurodivergent child who is just like not meeting the same expectations. And that, your kids love you. And as long as you show up and you're there and you're trying, like you're not failing at all. I mean, and I think if I've always thought that if you can acknowledge that you feel like you're failing and you're talking about it and wanting to, feel better about it or do something, then you're already not, you're no, you're not even failing because you've acknowledged that those feelings, I was like trying to think of the best way to put that, but yeah, you're already trying, like you want to do better for your kids. So I don't know. I'm not always the greatest person to give advice because again, I'm not perfect, but just
Which
to know
I
you're
think
not
makes
alone.
you the greatest person.
Oh, thank you. I think just knowing you're not alone in it. I mean, if your kids love you, so your moms, everybody needs their mom.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Heather, for being here. I hope that you have an amazing Mother's Day and happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. Make sure that you listen to our upcoming Purity Culture podcast that's going to be coming up next week, starting with Dr. Ashley Hudson. And I know you're not going to want to miss it. There's a lot of good things out there. So happy Mother's Day. Enjoy whatever that looks like for you. And we will talk to you soon.